Hi, I'm Danny Lipford.
And I'm Chelsea Lipford-Wolf.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And be sure to share with a friend, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. This week on Today's Homeowner, we're looking at cool tools and cleaning up the confusion about which one to use for which job. Don't go anywhere, because if you do, you might be making extra work for yourself. Home improvement projects can prove to be very frustrating if you don't have the right tools. And there's so many different tools out there that can help you make your project go a little bit easier. Now, this week we're going to look at all kinds of tools, and whether you're a pro or a do-it-yourselfer, we've got some great tools to show you. And we're going to start out with the basics. My oldest daughter, Chelsea, bought her first house about a year ago and quickly discovered the value of a good set of tools. She's got a pretty good perspective on what a novice DIYer needs in their toolbox, or tool cabinet as the case may be.
Definitely a drill was the first thing that I picked up, and it was I got a hand-me-down from Dad, and I bought a few new batteries for it, and then after I've used it for a couple of weeks, I realized I needed some different kind of bits besides just little screwdriver tips. So I went and got a bit kit, so I can hang all different kinds of things. I'd be lost if I didn't have a tape measure. And then these, I don't know, I just use these for different, household things, but I have the utility knife for when I was renovating, cutting out old caulk and stuff like that. And then a level. Before I bought this, I just used, when I first started with my house, I had an app on my iPhone that I used to make sure things were level. And one day I was using it to hang a shelf, and it fell onto the floor and cracked the screen, and so then I decided to get the level.
Now, Chelsea mentioned how much she loves her cordless drill, so it begs the question about what drill to use for what job. Apparently, Alan saw an opportunity for some comic relief.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
So he volunteered to provide the answer with some help from one of his friends, Kendra Bennett, an avid DIYer.
What we got here, cordless?
Cordless.
Rechargeable. Probably what, 3 volts? Maybe if that, no. That's probably a little bit more than that. For this, though, you don't have a lot of power.
No.
Well, what I do like, though, is that at least you have a light. So, I mean, this is good for, like, tight spots if you've got something under a cabinet you're trying to take care of.
I can see using this for taking the screws out of wall sockets or handles off of a cabinet door.
That's true. Now, you use this a lot, though.
Yes.
Why?
Well, it's good for putting furniture together. If you've bought some prefab cabinets and you've got to put them together, everything's going to go together much faster with that.
Now, that was a cordless, that's battery powered. This is a corded hammer drill. Mm-hmm. I love these, Kendra, because of the fact that this is great for if you're putting stuff into concrete.
Exactly.
Get a masonry bit on this thing. You're not just drilling into it. Think about if you're drilling and someone at the same time has got a hammer hitting in the back of this to really force that down there. So that works really well. Now, this impact driver has a lot more torque.
Absolutely.
In addition to hammering down all at the same time, think about somebody has also put a clamp on the drill bit and is spinning it at the same time. So you've got that more torque out of this little thing than you do with that big monster there, which means you have more time to make your movies.
If there's a tool that every homeowner needs, it's the hammer. And nobody is more opinionated about hammers than a professional carpenter.
If you were looking for a hammer and you're not a professional builder, probably the most common hammer for you would be a 16-ounce claw-handled hammer. It's very good, it's light, you can work with it, it's not hard. I think a lot of people would have trouble picking a hammer like this up initially and hanging a picture with it. This hammer has the solid steel construction on it, which I really like that. You don't have to worry about breaking it off. It's got a long length, it's 16 inches from top to bottom. Smooth face, 22 ounce, which is an easy swing. It won't wear you out throughout the day. Straight claws, it's just a really universal hammer for me. Hammers do wear out, believe it or not. I know most people have them all their lives, but you'll get to where you just slide off the head of a nail with this, and one really good trick is you just take that, lay it on a piece of concrete and rub it back and forth, and you will just like sanding that thing, but it will texture it up enough to catch the nail.
Well, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't stress how important it is to use all the tools we're showing you this week very safely. And that starts with protecting your hearing, your eyes, as well as your lungs. And this is very inexpensive. These 3 items, only about $20, and they'll last you a long time if you'll keep up with them. Now, while I'm picking up a few other things while I'm here, why don't you check out this week's simple solution?
If you're one of the many homeowners who are now using air-powered pneumatic tools around the home and yard, you may have discovered you now have a storage problem. You have the compressor, air hose, tools, fasteners. Where do you store them all? Well, first, I recommend keeping them all in one place. For storing the hose, the air hose itself, go out and get yourself a plastic hose reel. This is designed for holding a garden hose, but it works great in the shop as well. On the back is a keyhole slot, so I started one screw and I'm going to slip a wood shim on there, and I'll explain why in a minute. Then simply put the screw through the hole and tighten it up. Okay, straighten it out a little bit. Then put one more screw in the top, just to keep it from spinning around. There we go, nice and secure, just 2 screws. Now I have a place to store the hose. It's readily accessible whenever you need it. And for the tools themselves, you can store in the shelf. But because this is designed to be stored outside, this shelf is pitched down so water runs off. That's not a problem indoors, right? So that little shim tips it back so your accessories and tools can stay in there without sliding off.
This week we're digging into the details of tools to answer some commonly asked questions. My good friend Tom Blizzard is one of those homeowners who always has a project going on, so he's the right man to help out as we tackle which saw is the right saw. Now, Tom, can you imagine back before electricity having to use the old hand saw to cut 2x6s, 2x4s to build an entire house? Those guys must have had quite impressive biceps.
Those houses were all wood too.
Yeah, I know.
Every piece had to be cut.
Man, I'm glad we got power these days.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the circular saws these days?
They're great. I've got an old one and a new one. The new one's got a laser light on it. My old one weighs about 100 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
So.
That's a lot better, and they have it, ergonomically a little bit better so that you're, not so much fatigued. Have you tried
You want to race?
yeah, we'll race. And what about the battery operated one? Have you tried the cordless?
This thing, I use this all the time if I'm under a house or in an attic somewhere I don't want to run a cord, or if there's no power there.
Right.
These things are wonderful.
What about, I'm sure you've dealt with a miter saw before.
I use it for everything and probably use it more than I should. But.
Well, the molding, it's almost a necessity now for molding.
I've actually got a miter saw stand that stretches out about 15 feet, so yeah.
Yeah, that works pretty good. Now, another thing over here, the jigsaw, have you had much use for that? I'm sure you have.
This is the only saw I was allowed to use as a child.
Give it a try and see what you think about that one.
This is real similar to when I had to cut the sink in. It's not very good for big cuts like you're doing. The blade flexes a lot.
Go. Pretty good. Now, something else, reciprocating saw. Anytime you do remodeling, you're going to use that for demolition, but have you ever seen one quite like this? Check that out. Pretty aggressive looking.
Yes.
And then, let me grab one of these blades to show you this. All right, you can, with just this flip right here, you can put this in like that. You're ready to go. Or you flip it around.
Oh, wow.
And you're ready to go. But wait, there's more. Watch this. Take that, and you can put it in sideways. So just imagine how handy that is when you're doing a lot of demolition.
I wish I had that about 2 weeks ago.
While carpenters use saws a lot, so do flooring installers. But these tools are a lot more specialized, like the wet saw for cutting ceramic tile. But flooring pros also have to cut a lot of door jambs. So what do they use?
The kind of jam saw we like to use is an electric one. It has a round blade, allows us to do a lot of door jambs at once. We can cut 6 or 8 door jambs in just a matter of minutes, whereas if we had a manual jam saw like this, it would take us a couple of hours to cut all the door jambs that we need to cut.
Homeowners can rent the kind of jam saw Joe is using, but as you can see, it's a pretty aggressive tool and it requires some precise adjustment to cut the jam at the right height. However, the oscillating saw is a lot less intimidating option because you can use a piece of wood flooring as your guide, just like you do with a manual jam saw. Now, painting is another chore that lots of homeowners take on, but when the pros do it, they depend on their skill rather than gadgets to make time. Alan, you know, I kind of love it when the manufacturers like Hyde come up with an idea here that's used on the professional paint jobs and they adapt it to a homeowner. It's pretty cool. You have your little cigar roller for touch-ups.
Right.
Does the same thing as the 5-gallon bucket.
Well, only that, it's got some other features too. You look at this flat spot right here. I mean, it's perfect for if you're using a brush to dip that brush in, and then there's your excess right there. Plus, you got your spout on this side. To me, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's worth it, just that by itself. And now, what about a lot of the paint accessories and painting tools like this? I know the guys from Wagner have been, developing these things for a long time. And the paint rollers like this with a little vacuum sleeve inside to hold the paint. This one, I know you've seen the manual.
Oh, I have with the manual.
Yeah.
I was amazed. And it's not that it makes you paint better,
Right.
but you can paint faster. There's less trips back and forth to the bucket.
And hopefully a lot less mess.
Oh, yes.
But this one, with it having the battery pack in it, and you're able to move the cylinder back and forth, that just makes a lot of sense. Nice and smooth delivery of the paint and so forth.
And then, of course, when it's time to fill it up again, you've got the lid that pops over a conventional can.
And then that just hooks right over it.
Right on top of it.
Just like that to pull it right into the cylinder.
This is, again, it's a cut-in, but it's a roller. So you've got the same texture. That's against the trim as you roll. And then, of course, just pop this off, pop this one on to fill it up, like that. And then
pretty cool. And that will do a lot of painting there if you have that much trim paint, or that much wall paint where you're going around. Because, a lot of times that's the big challenge for homeowners, not only making sure that that texture blends and the color blends, the thickness of the paint, but also cutting that thin line around all of that trim.
I like big things and little packages, especially when I'm over here in the power tools section. And DeWalt's got one for you that I want to highlight. This is their new impact driver. And I like this for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is their first cordless, brushless motor. Now, all of that less actually equals more for you because having a brushless motor means you're going to get more runtime on your battery. And it does run on a 20-volt lithium-ion battery. Another feature that I like is, look at this. When I press the trigger, 3 LED lights come on as opposed to, say, just one, so it illuminates your work surface better. Another feature that I like is if I need to change my bit, I just simply push it right in there and it locks into place. And to release it, I just press this little button right here and it comes right out. It's pretty lightweight. It weighs just over 3 pounds. Another thing I like about it is it's got a little clip here so I can hook it onto my blue jeans or my tool belt. The kit comes with 2 rechargeable batteries and a charger. So all of that, I think, is a pretty darn good tool.
We're unraveling the mystery of what tool to use for what job this week, and we've covered lots of stuff you can use to improve your home from the inside. Now it's time to head outside and take on some outdoor chores. First up, the pressure washer.
Let me tell you, this is a tool that I think any home can use. What's important is, let's talk first of all safety. Never operate this without safety glasses. Always have those on. Never point the water at a person or even at yourself. I've seen people try to rinse their feet off and actually cut themselves. Finally, make sure you are familiar with how the machine works. Most come with different nozzles. I like to look at this like a traffic signal. Red light, yellow light, green light. These are in degrees. You can see right on the front here, you've got 0 degrees, 15 degrees, 25 degrees. That refers to the degree of fan, the water that comes out of the nozzle. 0 degrees, red, stop. This is something I don't recommend using unless you're talking about taking off some very caked on dirt, grease, gunk on metal. 15 degrees, that's great for stripping things off like paint or rust. In extreme cases, if you got very heavy mildew, a 15 would work on that. In most cases, 25 is great. The next thing is know how to actually clean something. Don't ever start right on top of a fence or a deck or any kind of wood siding, because you can damage this. This actually can tear the grain off of your wood. Always start about 4 feet back and then move forward little by little until you're getting that clean the way you like it. Finally, slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to rush with this. This cleans deep, it cleans well. It's not meant to clean rapid fast.
Since we're dealing with fences, let's talk about one of the most dreaded chores associated with building one, digging post holes. Austin, looks like you got the tough part of this whole fence building project.
You know, my dad told me to dig around 20 of them, about 3 feet deep.
All right, well, that's a good bit of work. At least you've got the ergonomically correct design here going for you with these post hole diggers. You can dig those a little deeper, a little wider. That's just what you want, dig a little deeper, huh?
That's what it is.
Well, see, we could dig them deeper, longer posts, make for a stronger fence. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, look, have you ever dug any post holes like this before?
I haven't. This is my first time.
Well, you want to do it for a living?
I think I better stay in school.
Well, I'll tell you what, I brought something by that'll make this whole project go a lot easier. Help me unload it here. I think you're gonna like this. It's actually a one-person auger. I'll get you to grab the auger bit there. And I picked it up at the rental center.
Well, this just looks like a big drill bit.
Yeah, exactly what it is. And this is the drill motor. So, and all you have to do, let's line that up. Just put that right in there. Okay. All right, I think I got it lined up now. Let's see.
There we go.
All right, now turn it around. And I'll put this cleat back in. And we're ready to try it out. Hey, we won't tell your daddy about this. We'll,
right,
you know,
that.
he'll think you're just tearing it up out here.
Yes, sir.
All right, let you grab that side. There you go. We'll do it just like that. You ready? You good? All right. All right, let's see if we can get this thing going. Just set it right down where we want that first hole there. All right, let's see. All right. So, you just get balance, make sure you're not bending over. Use your legs, just like a motorcycle. You don't have to go fast. And don't let it twist you or anything. There you go. Just take your time. Stand up a little closer to it. There you go. Okay, just keep it straight up and down. Keep going. Hitting the rock, you feel it hitting that rock.
Isn't that rock?
Yeah, but I think it's okay. Go ahead, I think we got it. It'll go about 3 feet down.
Keep going?
Might want to pull up on it just a little bit. While you got it going, pull up just a little bit. Okay, now back down. Okay, now all the way up. Okay, go ahead. Watch your foot. There.
Well, that was much easier.
So, we'll go to this next one right here. I'll help you carry it over there. 20 posts, no problem. Marla asked, how will I know when it's time to replace my asphalt shingle roof? Depending on the type of asphalt shingle you Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.